Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. GoodTimesWithScar here, and welcome back to the foolish world of FoolCraft. And we are outside of our brand new marquee for Fool's Park. That is right. In our last episode, we've got our wrought iron gates there. We've got the marquee up at the top looking super fancy. I love how it says Fool's Park up there. That is really nice. And of course, the little pillars on the sides. It took a long time to really devise and design, but I think they came out really, really cool, along with our kind of like faux gate leading into the park. I think that's really nice. And then down at the end over here, we have, of course, our two gates, which are named after stress and fall. So I think these ones came out really, really nice. I love these, of course, with their like unique tops on the marquees there, and an additional one over here. I think they're looking very, very nice. And I was glad you guys liked the idea of incorporating the other fools into the park like that. And of course, Red Diggity Dog's gate's going to be just down there once we complete the City Hall. I love some of the ideas you guys had for the Ren Dog gate. Somebody said we should just make a mini gate inside of like the pillar under the wrought iron, so it's like a little like dog flap. Oh man, I chuckled after that. That was a good comment. I really appreciate that one. And of course, down here, we've got our brand new pathway design, which I'm loving every minute of. We've got our dirt kind of built into the cracks. We have our grass growing throughout and a little bit of water trailing around. And I love the shading. Let me zoom in on that for you guys. Look at that shading on the bricks. I think that is really cool. What I would love to do once we go inside is to take this concept and shrinkify it to something very small, like smaller little paver pieces. I think could be really nice. And we've got our little bit of brick, you know, poking through the kind of the plaster of our pillars. I think that's really nice. But one thing we need to do before we get into today's episode is mourn the loss of Aquascar. That is right. Aquascar was taken from us way too soon. Aquascar, in his pursuit of justice throughout the server, he was the sworn protector, of course, and he was slain and taken from us, and we'll no longer have Aquascar, but we will keep his honor in our hearts. So let's maybe take a moment here, and we could bow our heads and just remember the good times that Aquascar brought to us. So let's take a moment of silence here. Okay, that's good. That's good. I think we paid our respects very well to Aquascar. So in the comments, I would like to see hashtag Rip Aquascar. But let's get into today's episode, and down below here, this is where the fountain's gonna go. That is right. So we're gonna build a fountain. It's gonna be amazing, and we're gonna do like a really cool old-fashioned city park fountain. Now, what the kicker of this thing is gonna be is we're gonna put the FoolCraft logo inside the fountain, so it's kind of at the top where the water's coming out. I hope this all works out. It's going to be really, really cool if we're able to do it. So I'm excited about getting the FoolCraft logo up there. Now, over here, we're going to do some chisel and bit trees. That's right. We're going to do our first chisel and bit tree, see where we can take the design, and maybe even some chisel and bit flowers along the way here. I think that'd be really nice to have those flowers along this section. Now, another thing I'd love to do is maybe like a tree built in around the fence. You know, when you see fences or buildings sometimes built around an existing tree that they didn't want to take out, I think it would be really cool if along this way there was another tree that the fence is built around. I think it'd be really, really nice. Now, for the interior of the park, looking pretty snazzy, right? We've got our green fields here, but eventually we're going to terraform this up. We're going to add some little hills over here. And of course, in this spot right here, we're going to have our pond and our little vendors here with their little push carts with balloons and ice cream. Oh, I'm very excited. I think our park's going to be very, very nice once we get it all assembled and ready to go. So let me grab up some materials and let's get rolling on that fountain. Something that never ceases to amaze me is the creativity of the other fools here at the City of Maybe. Looking through Azuma's record shop, look at these incredibly detailed record albums. Like, you guys are amazingly creative making these things for him. Like, look at Brindog with the bone. Is he bad to the bone or something? And then moving on over here, is that Iskall like chasing? He's chasing like fool's bucks or something. That's hilarious. And of course, is that a scar? That's a scar, looking pretty fancy. Oh, and there's B-dubs, very fine. Oh, that's really cool, Azuma. And then up at the top here, he's got these little markers here. I guess gauging, you know, if these things are becoming more popular, there's more albums being sold, it becomes green, and of course red when it moves down, or this little line I think means it's like stationary for that week. That's really cool. And these shelving units, oh, it's very, very, very cool. But down the lane here, BOO has been working on his apartment complex / theater. It is really, really awesome. I want to show you guys this. He created a little barbershop in this little spot right here. Isn't that amazing? I love what he's doing back here because it's creating atmosphere. You're creating little apartments with little buzzers. He's creating the little wheelie thing for the barbershop. And if you go inside, look at this. Look, it's got little barber chairs and everything. I mean, these are the little things that sometimes get forgotten when we build, and BOOs excels at that. And it's so cool to see that. But we must be getting on, my friend. Hello there. Is that a... It's a little pigeon friend. That thing's really cool. Anyway, we've got to get going today. We got to stop lollygagging around with the pigeons of the city and get going on our fountain. So like I said in the intro, we got to get that fountain going with our FoolCraft logo and different details like that. I hope we can do the FoolCraft logo. I'm looking at it, looking at the colors and things. I think we can probably do something pretty nice. So why don't we jump in here? I'm going to start with some brownstone. And I'm going to go with this big old cube piece, and I'm going to start bringing that on up. There we go, bringing that up like that. So we're going to start with a basic color, just one color, and then I'm going to get the basic kind of details and structure built out, and then we can start incorporating other shades of colors and details, but it's always good to start with a really basic block. It's called blocking in, like when you paint, you kind of block in the tones of the picture, and then from there you kind of extract and extrude the picture into the ways you want it. So that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be amazing. That's what we're gonna do, and I'm excited about it. So we're gonna start just kind of making our first little bowl here. So what I want to do is I want to create this thing has like a little bowl here full of water, and then there's a secondary smaller one there, and then there's the fountain with the FoolCraft logo above that. I think it's going to be super unique. I'm excited to see how this all comes together. We may remove some of these things right there and change that up a little bit. And also I'd love to have maybe even some secondary fountains or light posts around it. I think that'd look really nice. And of course, I mean, we got to have a little bottom here where all that water is just going to go flowing outwards. So I think this is looking good. So I think if we start like this, right? And if we maybe we can even cut in like that, see, we can start getting some shapes built in. And that's kind of the fun of it, is you start really, really basic, and then you just slowly but surely find your way through it. And eventually you're going to start to see kind of what you want. And you're like, oh, there it is. But it's so much easier to start with a blank slate. And I've really noticed that in Minecraft lately, is when you start off with a really complicated, messy thing, say the community build, like the walls, if you just decide to just clear it out and then just rebuild it from that, it can be so much easier than trying to piece things back together. I've at least found that in a way. I think that really does kind of help you as you see things a little bit more clearly, a little more cleanly. There we go. And that's looking amazing. Okay, let's check the scale. The scale is a little higher than I wanted, considering we don't want it to dwarf our marquee. So we got to be very considerate to the marquee that we don't go much bigger. So let me make some modifications, actually give it a bottom, and start kind of skinnyfying it by moving these pieces down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start kind of cutting in here and there and just kind of really bringing in the little bits of detail, which I think is going to look really nice. In other areas where we can kind of maybe take things like this, kind of fill in the edges. See how we started to make it a little bit skinnier, and say we throw in these little pieces like that. Look at the little pieces. See that? Looking amazing. Anyway, let me start working on this a little bit more, and I'll catch you once I got this bowl a little bit more shaped. Welcome back, and I've been making some adjustments to bring in the scale of our fountain so it does not dwarf our design in the back there, which is the marquee. So that's a big thing, is keeping this in a proper scale where we can still achieve a level of detail but doesn't look overwhelming in scale. So that's what we're kind of working on now. So what I want to do is I want to kind of dive in here and kind of see where it'll take us here. So what if we do something like that on the edges? I'm trying to round them out and just kind of see where that might take us. I think this might be a good direction. So let's continue on this. And I wanted to ask you guys, have you seen that video that kind of circled maybe about a week ago? I finally just saw it. And it is a video where they go into the Lego archives, right? And they look at all the sets made throughout the years. They start kind of in the 70s when they started selling physical sets that are built to a specific specification, not just a bucket of Legos. And it was really cool because it brought back so many childhood memories of, different sets from when I was a kid. And you know, there's little like decades, so there's little like racks for each decade. And when it hit like the ones that I remember, I was like, there it is. There's like the Old West set. There's that Indiana Jones guy. There's the city sets, like the fire station, the police station, the space, you know, port, different things like that. I was like, dang it, there's my legas, and it was amazing. It's a really cool video, and if you guys haven't seen it, I highly encourage you to check it out. Just search, you know, Lego Archives or something along those lines. I think it's called like Behind the Brick, maybe the channel. I'm not 100% sure. We were talking about it in my Discord about it for a little bit, and people were talking about the ones they liked and stuff. It's a really cool video. It's fun to see, like, especially the ones back in, say, the 70s, and how most of the Legos are red and yellow, and the characters don't have any faces or arms. It's pretty funny, actually. And it was, like I said, it was really cool to see some of the ones that I played with when I was a kid, and some of the ones like I always dreamed of was like the Wild West Fort. Stuff along those lines was really cool to see. And like the Q Rescue or the rescue sets, like I love those ones too as a kid. The little rescue helicopter and the little boat with the fans on the back driving around. Oh, it's so cool. All right, so I think that's looking decent. It's looking decent. See how we're starting to get some shape in here? Like I said, we're definitely going to come through here with some additional colors and things along those lines. But I think this is a good start. So let's work on the bottom here. What's going on here? I'm trying to lay on the ground. Oh no, was it part of Aquascar? Oh, when Aquascar died, he must have taken that ability away from us. Dang it. How are we gonna work on the little like lower regions now? Oh, that's gonna be a pain. We're gonna have to think of a way around that. But look at that. That is actually looking fairly snazzy. But the main problem, like I said, is working in this area right here, which I can't lay flat anymore like we used to. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Let's bring in this piece, and I want to see if maybe like rounding these corners might look nice, just to kind of cut them down just a little bit like that. Maybe we'll think about it. I'm gonna knock that off for now. And like I said, I need to come up with a way of getting down there. I might remove this block. That might be our only way now. Yeah, that's really useful, was laying on the ground. And I've always said this, with Chisel and Bit, version 2 would be amazing if there was an ability to lay down on the ground, zoom in, and have like slower movements. I know there's the Draconic Evolution armor that can do it, but if you can just like move just really, really precisely, really slow, that would be amazing. Version 2 of Chisel and Bits right there. That's what I want. Hashtag best idea ever. Anyway, let me work on this a little bit. Let me kind of chiselify it just a little more and see if we can start on our secondary bowl just above it. There we go. We have gotten a really cool base structure for our fountain. Now I removed the blocks down here so that we could access the bottom region. And I think that's looking really cool. As you can see, we got these little feet that kind of hold it up. Got a little bit of contrast starting in this area, which is nice. And just slowly but surely kind of chiseled away at this. And I think we're getting there, and I think it's looking pretty sweet. So what I want to do now is I would like to add just a little bit of detail here on some of these pieces, just to give it a little bit more contrast. So that's our next phase here, is really kind of broadening out some of its features to really enhance it. And I think that's kind of looking pretty nice all the way across here like that. Very cool. So let's put that all the way around here. There we go. So what we need to do now is we need to think about how we're going to make our little bowl at the top. So what we need to think about is the scale. So of course it needs to be quite a bit smaller than the structure down below. And then above that, that's where the FoolCraft logo is going to go. And I've been a little bit busy trying to match some of the colors from it. And I think I did a fairly good job. The red's still a little off, but it's kind of the best I could do within the mod pack here. So let's go down to our smallest material. And what we're going to do is we're going to start clicking it here. Oh, whoa, where am I going? Where did I just go? There we go. So I'm going to take this block. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. And I'm going to bring these pieces all the way across, very similar to what we did on the other side, and just very slowly but surely take this all the way around so that we have a bowl up here. And like I said before, I want this to be fairly small so we don't overpower any of the other things and just really take the whole thing out of scale. Our next phase, after we complete all this, is to think about those trees. Remember we talked about that? In our last episode, we were thinking, what if we did this in a fall environment? What if the trees were orange or red? I think that could be really cool. I haven't quite decided 100% what I want to do with that. So I think in the front, let's do some standard green oak leaves. But eventually I think we can, plan if we want to do it in a particular season. So in the comments, I would like to know from you, should we make the park a seasonal park? Should it be autumn? Should it be summer? Should it be winter? We could get crazy. We'd have snow for all we want. It's the foolish worlds of FoolCraft. We can make whatever we want. So definitely let me know season. So in the comments, right, season, and then tell me which one you think the park should be experiencing. Fall, we could have the orange leaves. In the summer, we have the flowers. And of course, in the winter, we have the snow. We could do whatever we want. So just come up with whatever you feel like it would be amazing with. And I'd love to see what you guys think. So I'm going to bring this all the way across here. And no, I'm not making a hopper. It kind of looks like a hopper. Yep, it definitely looks like a hopper. That's okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to take these blocks and I'm going to bring them all the way across here because I think it would be really cool if a little bit of water on these edges spilled over into this bowl. Oh, I think it would be absolutely beautiful. So you get the kind of picture here. So once we have this all established, we are then going to kind of rough up the edges and make it all nicely rounded with details and then start that water flowing. I'm not a big fan of the logo in this context, in this size. I feel like maybe we can take that design and build it within the park and maybe make it out of stone materials that resemble the grayish blue and of course the red and stuff along those lines. But I feel like it's just a little bit out of place here and just doesn't quite fit in with the general style that we're trying to achieve. But in the comments, I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Am I making the right decision by getting rid of it, or should I have kept it? So I don't know. I went back and forth for a very long time trying to make something out of this, but unfortunately I just never could get it to be where I want it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do it inside the park as a sculpture of some kind on the ground. We could do it in a bigger scale with more detail and things along those lines. I feel like it just distracts from the fountain, which I think is looking pretty amazing. So why don't we take out some water and kind of see where we're going to take this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the line tool and I'm going to run the water all the way upwards like, oh, hello there. I'm going to run it up here. And what I want is the water to spill out over these edges. And this is kind of the source of it up at the top here. So if I run this across here, and of course we can refine the water a little bit, but I just want to get an established area of water up here. Oh, hey, yo. That kind of like shocked me there. There we go. And of course, let me just add just a little down here. There we go. Just a little something there. Oh, I'm going to back that off a little bit. We're going to do this full manual, guys. We're going full manual. There we go. So we're going to run that all the way up there. There we go. That's looking very nice. And then, you know what we're going to do? We're going to start kind of running it outwards, right? So this is kind of splashing on down. And, you know, just is all trial and error, just finding our way and finding the natural variations of the water and how it kind of cascades out of the spout. Now, up in this little section here, let's see about making some water in here. Oh, that's not right. Let's see about that one more time. There we go. Bring that across there like that. And then inside here, oh, there we go. This water is very volatile. It's going all over the place. We just don't know where it's going to take us. There we go. Put that across. Come on. All the way, little buddy. There you go. Oh, geez, we got really crazy. Okay, let's do it this way. Did we do it right that time? Can I get this right, please? Let's see. Are we filled in? If it's not, like I said, we can totally do some variations. Okay, so let's take out the water here and let's start kind of cascading it over the edge into the main bowl. What I think this is going to require is so much precision, right? Trying to find the right ways of doing this so it doesn't look weird. You know, you want to get a little bit of water splashing around, but then you want a general stream kind of going downwards. And without the ability to lay flat, this is hard. This is truly hard. So something like that, I think is going to be, yeah, I can see it now. I can totally see it now. And like I said, some of this just needs to get kind of cleaned up a little bit. You know, a few places where the water's not exactly, you know, covering the spout, things like that. And of course, maybe clean off some of the splash marks like that and maybe make it go just a little bit higher here. Just a little bit, not too crazy, just a little bit. There we go. Oh yes, that's looking really cool. Now, as for the interior here, let's jump up here and kind of see how this is actually going to go. This is going to be a little while trying to figure this out. I wonder if we did go on a straight plane in this instance, it might actually work. So let's fill that in. I'm concerned. Yep. That's what I was concerned about. Oh, shoot. It's not letting me change it. No, is it? Okay, it is. Oh, that's good. I was really worried it wouldn't. That would have been a nightmare. That would have been a nightmare trying to clean up all that nonsense. There we go. So I think it's just going to take a while to fill this thing all the way up. You know, just go about halfway up, I think, of water in here is going to look really good. Just so when you're up at the top, you can see the water kind of spilling about. So yeah, I think this is looking good. It's just like I said, it's going to take a little while to get all these little dots in place because this is very, very precise and not having super fine control like we once had. Make this a little more difficult, but we'll find our way, right? We'll find it. So yeah, let me work on this a little bit more, and then we'll work on those chisel and bit trees. And the water is now flowing inside of our beautiful fountain. I think that came out really, really cool. We still need to work a little bit on the water flow, but I think the general shapes and things along those lines are definitely solid for now. And I very, very much like this. So down below here, I kind of cleaned it up, added a bit of a border with some of the leaves. So I think that's nice. As for these little blocks under the fountain, not 100% sure about that design. We'll definitely think about that. Now, over here, you might have noticed that we're starting to run some dirt along here with a little bit of grass. Still trying to come up with an exact design. So this is something I'm kind of going off at the moment. Where it's dirt along here, I'd love to plant some like bushes, maybe some flowers. And then as for the lawn area, that's where things might get a little crazy. So what I've been thinking about is what if we do something like this, where we have some tall grass, you know, kind of growing up here. And then potentially then we take our trees. So if we have a chisel and bit tree, maybe like right here on either end of the fountain, I think that might look pretty cool. I don't know. I'm just going back and forth. I'm trying to kind of figure out where we're going to take the terraforming with chisel and bits, because this is a whole new world. So I'm not 100% sure where to take it at the moment. So what I'm doing is I'm creating my little triangles, right? Get my little triangles going, and then adding a little dirt with 1 block difference right there. So we have a little bit of a difference right there. So I think that's looking decent. So it's just going to take a little bit more time, and I'm going to run that all the way across to here. And then I think I'm going to run the perimeter of the fence also with the dirt. Now, the other question would be, should I run the dirt along the pathway here? And I'm leaning towards a yes, so that we can add some really cool little flowers. And I'm trying to envision what said flowers may look like. So if we fly back into the city of maybe, now get ready, my friends, it's going to get laggy. It's gonna get a little laggy. We're into the voids, not to be mistaken for a Zuma void. I'm totally stuck. This is the worst decision I've ever made. We're going into the void, guys. Buckle up. We're going in. Uh-oh. Everything's loading around us. Oh, man. All right, here we are. This was the longest trip ever. This is what I'm talking about. If we take our vase that we designed long ago here for the lobby of my residential building, something like that designed around the flower beds, I think could look really cool. Like, look at that. That's amazing. I love it. Anyway, I think that's going to be really cool. So I need to start devising that. So let me rejoin the void and get back to working. How does that look? I may have gotten a little bit crazy with the chisel and bits. So let's kind of dive in together and see what I've done here. So I've taken the grass block, right? And I've tried a couple different blocks. Like I tried using the standard leaf blocks and make up like a grass pattern, but it wasn't quite working. So what I did was I took the standard, grass block here, and I just kind of chopped it up and did little details like that. And I think that's looking really cool. And of course, we've got the dirt lines going across. Now over here, I really wanted to vary it up a little bit. It was a little too symmetrical for my liking. So I wanted to add a little bit of variance into the design to give it just a couple little details. Like maybe there's a little bit of dirt in one side where it's not as thick. And I think those elements really add a little bit more, life to the build than just very static designs like right there. So if we dive down here, I have constant bit of lag with this. I might have done that. I'm not 100% sure. But what I like to do here, wait, I just did it all wrong. Let me do it again. Nope, still doing it wrong. Maybe I clicked the wrong thing. I did. So what I like to do for the third time is to spread this out like that. So kind of give myself just a little bit of room, and then I can kind of, just move around the blocks just a little here and a little there. And then what I can do then is go back to place and then add some of these guys. Look at that, looking very nice. and then just run those across here like so. And just over and over you can add this. Now, I haven't used any of the papers because I really wanted to create a very natural and organic feel to it so it doesn't feel kind of copied and paste. So that's why I'm just going back and forth, and it has taken a long time. As you can imagine, this is a separate day we are now on. So I think it's looking good. I think it's actually turning out well with this. So other things we still need to think about for this area, of course, is trees and flowers and different things along those lines. Now, like I said, this has taken more than a day to get to this point. So I might just work on like a template of flowers and then kind of work from there, and maybe a template for a tree. I think that would be good because I would eventually like to give you guys this video, but I really like this. Like, this is really, really fun to kind of find your way through the grass here like this. It gets a little bit laggy when you place down the blocks. A little bit, maybe because we have so many faces. Maybe at some point we may have taken it a little too far, and we might have to back it off a little bit. But let's just see where it kind of takes us for this episode for sure. And yeah, look at that. So we just continue this design like that, and then just bring it all the way down, all the way back. So I think that's looking really cool. And I love the way the fountain has come out. I think that's looking fantastic. So a few more details and we can finally wrap this up. Now that is one beautiful chisel and bit landscape, and let's kind of dive into the details and take a look at this. So as you can see, I've been working on, that's a floating branch. Let me move that for you. There we go. So as you can see, we've got ourselves some beautiful hedge work. And of course, this kind of makes this very nice separation from the, the stone and the dirt to the actual lawn right there. So that, as you can see from above, like that looks really, really cool. So let's kind of stop down right here and let's just see what we can do. Let's start, and it's a little bit difficult. As you can see, the ground is very uneven. So it's kind of hard to get this placed in the right spot. There we go. Now, I've been trying to design some trees, and they're not there 100% yet. I still need to kind of do a little bit more variation, practice a little bit with them to really try to find the best design for chisel and bit trees. I know it's there, but I haven't harnessed it yet. So it'll just take a little bit more detail to establish. As for flowers, the same deal. It's like I've made a few, but I just wasn't satisfied. And I want these things to be very beautiful, something that inspires you guys for your own chisel and bit landscapes and things along those lines. But I still haven't quite got them. Now, as you can see, we kind of need to fix some of these things. That's the disadvantage to the little paper guys sometimes. That does save time, but then it can also cause a lot more work. Like now I got to go through and take out all of those. But I think generally this is starting to look really cool. And eventually we will get those flowers and those trees down, but they'll definitely take just a little bit more time to fully realize the particular design we're trying to do. Are we out of leaves at this point? Oh, I think we're out of leaves. Okay, well anyway, let me go get some more leaves. Let me finish this hedge work, and then we can finally wrap up our landscaping episode today. Mission complete, my friends. We have created our fountain and it is looking absolutely amazing. We've got the water flowing. We have some beautiful details here that really make it look like a real old-fashioned park fountain that you'd find in an old city park. And of course, we've got the hedge work, we've got the walkways, we've got the marquee there, and of course, all this beautiful grass finally chiselified that we can now enjoy. Absolutely amazing. I love the details here. So now what we need to do is start envisioning what we're going to do within the park, how we're going to terraform it, where the lakes are going to go, where the trees are going to be, and of course the little vendors, which I think will be my favorite part of the city. But yeah, absolutely loving these little details here. I think we may have gotten a little crazy with the chisel and bits, but isn't that the best of episodes when we get a little crazy with the chisel and bits? Absolutely amazing. So if you guys have any other designs that you'd like to maybe incorporate here in the front or even inside, always go City Park Designs in the comments. So hashtag City Park Designs, and let me know what you guys think would be cool for the park, because I've gained a ton of inspiration from you in the comments. So I definitely appreciate that. But yeah, look at that thing. I'm super proud of the way this came out today. So until next, we may or may not have a little scar mistake here. Let's see, that is, let me go to this real quick. So that's one solid block and that's two solid blocks. Didn't quite see that when I finished up with that. But anyway, I'll definitely fix that between the next episode. And where were we again? Ah, that's right. And until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. And if you believe the videos are rating, that would be much appreciated. And until next time, we'll see you later. And don't forget to subscribe, because you may just become scarred for life.